The simplest form of any type of energy, simplest form of every matter that exists is a matter. And when you break down to the atom, we go to subatomic particles, which will be a proton, a neutron, an electron. The clouds, which just sits the fuzziness around where the electrons sit. So you learn about things all the time, number and atomic mass. So what's the charge of a proton? Positive. The charge of an electron, negative. The charge of a neutron, nothing. So that's the charge. These two things would sit in the nucleus, and this sits in the outer ring. So as you can see in this, example they're giving there, they're using this helium. All right. So if it was just one, it would be hydrogen. So hydrogen is the most simplest form. So what are the most common atoms found in our body? Or elements? Hydrogen, carbon. So carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen are the most common found in our body. It's like it makes up a good 96%. Body weight is made up of those products. There's others, but that's the majority. We're the same kinds of compounds that the soil is made out of and the ocean water is made out of. The amounts will vary, but it's the same basic compound. So we derive from that. And that's how they made the Sindava by using these products. They came up with the Sindava. Same difference. So these two we said sit in the nucleus. This sits in the outside and spins around. So they're going to play a role in how these molecules hook up with one another. Okay? So we said proton, neutron, and the nucleus of it. And on the outside of it is the electron. So the reacting of an electron with the next molecule is going to tell you what happens. How they're going to hook up together. We kind of did some of this stuff in lab this week. Doing pH. pH is reading about what we're looking at pH. Hydrogen. We're looking at hydrogen, right? That's what we looked at. So if you get this basic now, does hydrogen have a neutron? Look at that thing. So if you take the hydrogen and we sit this thing.
Actually, need one? No?
So we'll go with blue.
That one, baby.
So if we take this ion here, hydrogen. It's always kind of carrying a charge, and one of the reasons for disrupt the whole class. Everybody filming here to disrupt the whole class. Since you guys are too much on the chat meetings and like instead of charging your phone, studying, you're doing that crap. Okay, so if we looked at hydrogen, there would be my electron going around it, and right here would just be a proton. There's no neutron. It was gypped. There's no neutron. Where they use the helium as your next example because it would have your neutron. Okay, so there's no neutron, so it's more like an ion, they call it, because it's always going to be reacted. It always will become a positive ion. So just know that. So how do we get this thing called atomic number? It's not a hashtag. What are we reading to get atomic number? So say if atomic number is 6, and atomic mass is 12. How do we come up with that? So we have atomic number. There's two major things that you look at a periodic table and you see an atomic mass or weight. Okay? How do we figure that out? So what is the atomic number of hydrogen? Pretty much 1. Its mass would be 1. But helium would be atomic number 2, mass 4. Why don't I just figure that out? Come on, you had me last semester, let's go.
If you would let me answer, I could tell you. The 2 is by the number of electrons and the 4 is by the number of protons and
No.
neutrons. Opposite?
No.
Oh, well
What
then I
do
was
you say?
wrong. So,
Nobody remembers this. I know we know, but I didn't know you know, see.
he's such a
Protons and neutrons give me weight. Protons tell me atomic. You don't count, the electron carries nothing. There's no mass to it at all. It's just an electrical entity out there, okay? So this is going to tell me number of the molecule. When I put them together, I get the mass of the molecule. That's how you figure that out. And that's how they're placed on the atomic table. And that table has all your elements up there. There you go. Right? It's ringing any bells. Should be. Who's had AP1 already? Let's go. It should be ringing bells a little bit in your head. You know, so it's like. But you get what I'm saying? So now, again, how do we figure out? So when you see the number, it's telling you now, these are rounded numbers. They go on like infinity when they put this together. You know, it's like one, what a million numbers, and so forth. And it's just an easy way to figure out where I am. So usually the things on the left side of the chart will be positive, the things to the far right will be negative, the stuff in the middle are the metals and stuff, and they react differently. So it's very, so we're not going to get that detailed because we're not a chemistry class. You take Gen Chem 1 and 2, you deal with ions. You take Orgo 1 and 2, you deal with organic molecules, which means they're polymerized. So we're going to go into that, okay, and how we put these things together. But notice, it gives you an idea how is it going to react. So helium is a very stable product. Hydrogen is not. So that's why they use helium gas over hydrogen gas, because hydrogen gas is dangerous when you get ignited. Helium gas will not, because it stays stable. So certain things that even neon, they use because it's stable. It's not going to react. It's a balanced molecule, so it's happy, or elements of anything. So then these things, because of this setup, will react. But so here we are. So here's our hydrogen. Here's our helium. And here's lithium. Okay, so now look at this: 3 protons, 4 neutrons. Kind of a screwed up molecule. But this one, when you look at the 3, this is your most balanced. Everything's even. So in that first shell, usually you'll have 2 electrons. The second and third level will have a max of 8. So what does this thing want to do? It wants to balance that outer shell. So if I have, like helium has 2, that cell is balanced. So it's not going to react. But if I don't have a balanced one like this, I want to balance this. And what's the most common thing hydrogen hooks up with? What? It's not up here, so you're not going to see it there. So what's water? H2O. So it's a very common bond. So that they'll hook up with one another, okay? So again, you're seeing this. So this guy got gypped. It's like born with no middle name, right? Good, you're gypped. But this is, out of these 3, this is the most balanced. Because now here in my other shell, I have 1. electron. So the most likely thing this is going to do is blow it off when it binds with something. It'll knock it off to the next one that it's going to grab to balance itself out and make it together. Luckily, you don't have to balance these equations on the test. We're not going to get into that detail, okay? So this is just showing you now what?
Three smallest atoms.
What?
The three smallest atoms.
Well, it's all hydrogen. These would be what? They use carbon a lot. And you show them hydrogen. Isotopes, you know, they change it. So they'll know how this will break down. So they kind of create it. It's going so quick so fast. So now, these things kind of like to hook together. And first, before we get into bonding, you got solutions, colloidal solutions, and suspensions. So, what is like a suspension? What do you think that is? If they're showing blood. So, when you let it settles out. It doesn't become a true solution. Colloidal will be something that will change its form. And this will be in a form you don't see what's in it. So it becomes a true solution. It doesn't settle out. Okay? So there's your three solution colloidal suspensions. Just to know the existence of it. Alright? Alright, so what's the main thing so far you'd be testing on? Proton, neutron, electron. Where do they sit? Atomic number, atomic mass. So the stuff we've talked about so far, that's what you'd be asked. Okay? No isotopes. Yeah. I will stop this but I hate this setup. It'd be better if it was a long, narrow classroom than it was wide classroom. But the bottom line again, the major things that we just mentioned that you would be responsible to know on this chemistry would be the three particles that make up the atom, which would be the proton, the neutron, the electron. Know where they are. Know what their charges are. Atomic number, atomic mass. Okay, so the next major thing we'll be going to is how do these things react? So it's bonding. So we talk about products that are ions, and they're going to play a big role when we get into the physiology of how things move across membranes and how things are going to make stuff work. And the major ones you're going to hear all the time will be sodium, potassium, chlorine, calcium. Those are big ions that are going to hit all the time. The body needs those. Yeah, there's a ton of those. Manganese, magnesium, tons of different. But the most common are those four. And without that, cells won't function. Understand? So those are the four major guys that we're talking about. Then comes carbon. Carbon's going to go with the biomolecules. So we're talking ions. I mean, they have a charge. They're ionic molecules. They're going to be positive and negative, but they carry a charge. Think of table salt. What is that?
Sodium chloride.
Sodium chloride. So sodium is the positive side, chlorine is the negative side. So when those things unite, hydrochloric acid, which you used, HCl, sodium hydroxide, ions, and water is a little different. Water is a different type of bonding magnet. But when hydrogen goes with chlorine, that's ionic bonding. Sodium hydroxide, ionic bonding. Potassium chloride, ionic bonding. These are all ionic bonds. So what do we mean when we talk about an ionic bond? Because there's three types of bond. We're talking ionic bond. So what do I mean with the ionic bond? They're oppositely charged, right. So in an ionic bond, what's going to happen? We're either going to take on or give up an electron. So the thing we're looking is the electron. It's either going to be picked up or taken on. Well, if I have 7 in my outer ring and the other guy only has 1, what's the most obvious thing that's going to happen? I'm going to give up my electron to the one that has 7 to balance out these two molecules. Like sodium, chlorine, and nice. That's what's going to happen. So, either what's going to happen, I'm going to give up an electron, or I'm going to accept. That means ionically bonded. So what's an easy way to remember it? It's a bad divorce. One got everything, the other one lost everything. So one got it, the other one gave it. Simple as that. That's an ionic bond. Ions. What's another name for electrolytes? We talk about electrolytes in your blood. That's what you're looking at, these things. So they're ions. And nerve won't fire without them, muscles won't contract without them, the heart won't beat without them, you need them. So guess what? When you get to AP2, your first set of everything we're doing is the heart, and you're talking about these ions, big time. What do potassium do? What does sodium do? What does calcium do? When we get to nerve, what do they do? When we get to muscle, what do they do? So if you don't get this down that it makes sense in your head, you're lost even when we get there. So we're laying the foundation of doing the chemistry. We start with the simple ones, and we work to the big molecules, which will be proteins, fats, carbs, and nucleic acids. And then from there we go to the cell. We learn about the cell, the parts of the cell, what each part does. From cells, you go to tissues. And then you finally get to the systems. Okay? So that's the buildup of the course. So if you don't have this foundation, you have nothing. So I know those who've had cell bio, you've done this. Gen Chem, you've done this in a lot more detail than we're going to do. We're going to get into moles and all that stuff. We're not chemistry. How they figure out the mole of a solution. By the amount of how much sodium is there or chlorine, that's how they figure out the molarity. You know, so that's a whole other category. So far, because of this, we're talking about if I'm going to hook it with another molecule that wants 2 out here to make itself happy, well, this would just shove it over here. And now I have a happy combination of hooking these together. Hydrogen plus chlorine would be carrying negative, and this would be positive. When they hook, they'll become hydrochloric acid, HCl. The electron was taken from here and put over there, onto the chlorine. So I balance the chlorine, I balance the hydrogen. I don't have just one electron, I have a shell element, so it's happening. That's kind of what I'm showing you these things work out. So what's valence? Valence is just the shell. The outer shell. The shell is going to react with valence electron. What's going to take place? Okay, so the first type of bond we mentioned was ionic, giving up or taking on an electron. Another biggie we'll get to will be, so there we go. So this is showing you a nice example of sodium chloride table salt. Each one in their own existence are volatile as hell. Sodium by itself, you take a chunk of sodium and just toss it in water, it'll explode. Chlorine in its gas form will kill you. Put them together and you can ingest them. Kind of weird, isn't it? Because we're stabilized. strange, isn't it? But that's, you know, look what it looks like. So what happened here? It's showing you sodium took this one electron on the outside, stuck it there. Now chlorine's out because look at 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 8 in there. My outer shell is gone. I don't need it anymore. And it's like she said, opposites are attracting. A positive is attracting to a negative. Two negatives, take a magnet. Opposite poles attract. Their relationship. Opposite poles attract. So you understand that you're not going to do. All would ask you on that, which I think about. Who would this be an example? Who is an air? That's not going to be asking. You know, who would be, you know, showing the form this. What is this? What type of ion? What's the definition of ion? Enough. One more and go into chemistry. Just to give you a foundation to understand how things can react and work, okay? I hate this as much as you're learning it, so very even. And there is a beautiful big picture, yay! And the PowerPoints are awful because they don't give you a description of anything that's going on. They're so weak, it's not fun. That's just showing you again, this one's positive, that one's negative. You know, well, this carries a positive charge, that carries a negative charge. So chlorine is always a negative charge. So we're going to see chlorine moves into a membrane, it's going to make it more negative, meaning we're going to shut stuff down. Sodium moves into a membrane. So you're going to do things in your membrane. Sodium or potassium move, they're going to stimulate. When sodium and what? Calcium. Sodium and calcium move, they're going to stimulate. When chlorine or potassium move, they're going to shut stuff down. So even though potassium carries a charge, it's weak compared to what sodium is. So sodium and chlorine, potassium and chlorine will inhibit the most reactive C in the body, especially in the heart, especially in the muscle. Where sodium and calcium are going to turn it on. So the positive ionotropic ions turn things on, negative ionotropic ions will shut things off. So these are terms you're going to hear if you're looking through the nerve and you're looking. So remember the graphs we did last semester? Well, that's all the graph is telling you. Sodium moved, so the depolarization starts. When potassium and chlorine move, it repolarizes. Another way to regenerate itself. So this is how these things work in our bodies. So that's why we're learning it. As crazy and as stupid as it sounds right now to you, by the time we get to midterm, it won't come. Because you'll understand what it's doing now. So that's why we put some emphasis on this nonsense. You are riding what is, they're going to take it granted. You know this and they jump right to physiology. No, this. They blow over this and they blow over the cell, because you're supposed to know it. You should have had a year of bio before you took this, so you should know it. Here we go, you don't. So we go into it. Okay? So this is like the simplest form you're going to get chemistry. If you want to learn more, take chem. If you're going to be a science major, you're going to have to take chem. I minored in chem. Majored in bio, minored in chemistry. They had 20 credit hours. So let's get enough of this crap. Reacting atoms. So, now what is this C? Carbon. Now carbon's a very stable element. And whenever you see carbon in the picture, we're talking about organic molecules. Inorganic molecules would be used with carbon. Carbon's different. Carbon's going to bond what they call a covalent bond. Okay, so we talked an ionic bond. Now we're going to talk about a covalent bond. So this one here was giving up our electron, right? we're going to give this thing up in the ionic bond. The covalent, they shear. So it's an equal sharing, it's a 50-50 sharing of the electron. It's the perfect marriage. You want to put a everyday life. That's a bad breakup. One got everything, the other one got nothing. This one's perfect. He's so wonderful. He does everything. Oh, she's so awesome. Yeah. He helps with the housework.
Are you talking about movies? Because I don't know.
No, that ain't like.
I don't know.
That's what her fiance.
No, Jay, you didn't know what she was saying before class started.
He does the dishes occasionally.
So, the whole fight is not too much, so we can't just, oh my God, it's a good fight. He's a good guy. Oh,
Yeah, you missed it.
there he is, it's perfect. So, all right, so here's your second bond. Carbon's gonna do this. It's a very strong bond. Carbon bonds are hard to break. And you can see right here, what's this showing you? This is methane gas. That's true gas. That comes out of you. That's the byproduct of organic molecules breaking up. Methane gas. You get that look. These things don't help. And then sometimes they even get louder as you're talking. It's like they hit their voice activated. The roller system to turn on stronger. Sounds like a hurricane. There'll be some days it turns on like a hurricane. That can set up so good. So they're going to share these things evenly. So here we are. So this force is covalent bond. But covalent bonds can be single, double, triple. And we're going to see that as we build, especially fat molecules. Triglycerides and fats, unsaturated versus saturated. So, by the amount of bonding is how you know, am I looking at a saturated fat or unsaturated fat? And they tell you unsaturated fats. And they tell you, well, you're unsaturated. You break them down. Because those, a lot of them are double and triple bonded, so the bond will break under certain temperatures in the body and change the molecule more liquidy so the body can move it. And saturated fat, most of them are single bonded, who don't break it down well and stores. Okay. So that's why this becomes important, understanding this. Then eventually we're going to work our way to water. Here it is. There's water. No? Let's go back. There's water, H2O. This is known as a polar covalent bond. What does that mean? So we have. Okay? So this is what they call polar covalent. Uneven sharing. So what does that mean? Well, when you take water, for instance, it's highly contained. When the electrons rotate around, this will become more negative. These stay more positive. So it kind of carries a little bit of a charge, like a 60-40 relationship, or 70-30. That's more like with life. You do 70% of the work, and he does 30. That you'll agree with me, okay? So that's kind of more reality of what. So think of that as kind of like the typical marriage, a 70-30 relationship. I do 70%. He doesn't give nothing. No. So there you go. So why is that so great about water that it runs this way? Just show me the whole setup. So covalent bond, non-polar, ionic bond will carry charges. This is water. Why is that such a great thing, water? Because of this setup. Because it depends on how So in other words, how does water hold together? Well, there'll be another oxygen over here, go into this one, and so forth. And they'll just bond all the way around this way. And because they're set up that way, it becomes the world's greatest solvent. And what's a solvent? There's two terms, solute, solvent. So there's solute, and then the solvent. That's the one being dissolved. This doesn't dissolve it. So salt would be this, and water would be this. You throw the salt in the water, it dissolves. Or you throw sugar in the water, it dissolves. Okay? All right. So now we're good with that. So because of this setup, water can penetrate down anything because of this great salt. And it gives buoyancy to it. That an insect can walk across the top of it. A ship would float like it. So you get buoyancy in it because of this setup. But it's a great solvent. So isn't that pretty neat? This is why the majority of our body is water. Because it's a great solvent. Solutes are going to get dissolved into the solvent. So like sodium chloride in water, salt water, potassium chloride, salt water, calcium chloride, salt water. So they tell you to use like different salts, light salts, which means they have more potassium and calcium in them than sea salt versus sodium. The sodium in water kind of like rough to attract. That's why I have high blood pressure issues and all this other stuff, fluid issues. They both love them. Where water goes, sodium goes, water goes. It's like, damn, can't get rid of it. Okay, so there we are. So sharing. So this is like giving you true explanations of what's going on. Strongest, intermediate. So your weakest then is just the polar bonds. So you want it to be that way. So I can make water dissolve anything and change itself to what it's going to do. So that's a good thing. My biomolecules, like my proteins, my fats, my carbs, and my nucleic acids, which will make ATP, they have to be strong. These things have to survive through a reaction to do what their end product has to be. And then the ions, they're in the middle because sometimes they have to split up. Sometimes they don't. The water's got to be the way it's designed because it's going to be accepting. The only thing that's not going to break down water is what? Fat. Can't mix oil and water. It's a mixture, not a solution. As soon as you take a salad dressing, you have to shake it up. Right? Especially Italian judge, you can see the layers. And when you mix it up, you made a mixture. A solution is when I throw salt into water, that's a solution. It stays that way. It doesn't settle out. And is it easier to dissolve if it's hot compared to cold? I throw sugar in ice coffee versus hot coffee. They don't dissolve better. Hot, hot. So what does heat work as?
Catalyst?
What? A
Catalyst?
catalyst, exactly. So temperature works as a catalyst. Just like an enzyme does. So if I heat something, I heat a molecule, I can make it react faster. So if I don't have an enzyme, another way of doing it is heat it, right? That'll work. Now look at that. Look, see the way it bonds together? And by doing that, it makes it so cohesive. And this cohesibility makes it a great solvent. And also like this little guy can walk across water. There's only other little being that does it. I'm sure we have a picture. I won't show that. Then we will show it. Alright, so now we talk about reactions. So you can see the decomposition of these reactions. So what the body's going to do is going to take simple molecules and create bigger molecules. But they bigger molecules can break them down. So you're going to synthesize reactions, you're going to break down reactions, and when our reactions will be exchanged. And what is this? There's your friend. So usually when you phosphate something, phosphorylation means I'm moving a phosphate. That's an exchange reaction. So when we talk about ADP plus P to ATP, that's phosphorylating a product. It's a high energy type reaction. So synthesis. So what's an amino acid? What are we going to make? Protein. And they bond by what you're going to get peptide bonding. So polypeptides, peptide bonding is how proteins bond. The amino acids join together to form a protein molecule. So a polypeptide chain is a protein. So it's a protein? A bunch of, so can our body manufacture all the amino acids that are out there? No, we can't. We have to bring them in. We don't really manufacture any glucose. We have to bring glucose in. We can manufacture fats, we can manufacture proteins in our body, but we don't really manufacture sugars in our body. We have to ingest them. That's why you have the similar division between plants and humans to bring in the glucose. So, if we tell you that, so we need to bring, so you'll hear along the way the 20 essential, there's 20 essential amino acids, meaning that we can't form those amino acids. Others we can, those we can't. So we need to bring them in our body. And certain type diets lack the 20 essential amino acids. So it causes different protein deficiencies which can really inhibit developmental growth, especially at the brain. Brain needs a lot of protein to grow, and it needs carbohydrate to run. So when you take it on yourself, because you're an expert, Herbalife representative told you, they're playing with fire, because minerals and vitamins are as toxic as drugs, and they can interact with drugs. So 13 types of vitamins that exist as simple vitamins. That's kind of what the body needs. The minerals it's taking in out of food sources and stuff. It does get some of the vitamin sources out of it. But the other stuff is a bunch of, there's no miracle. Take this pill and I'm going to lose 20 pounds. If you read the bottle said, follow a moderate exercise program and a moderate diet. Well, if you just did the moderate exercise program and a moderate diet, you lose the weight anyways without taking the pill. Now, certain things will mobilize carbs faster, such as chromium picolinate does. Chromium picolinate does a much better job controlling the type 2 diabetic than cinnamon. 200 micrograms of chromium twice a day will control the type 2 diabetic. You don't need to be puffing cinnamon through your body. And the amount of cinnamon you need is like 2 tablespoons a day, which is a lot. And you're going to really like the taste of cinnamon then if I want to take 2 tablespoons and put it into my foods and stuff. And I really don't want to do that. So the chromium picolinate will break down the carbohydrates that the body can get rid of. And what will result was membranes removed. So that it was also used years ago as a fat burner. It wasn't burning fat. It was chewing up all your carbs. People would go on 600 a day, 200 at each meal, a high protein, low carb meal, and what's going to happen, you're going to use out all the carbs, and then the body's going to go to fats and burn that. And when you stop burning fat, you lose weight. So that was, so that's all the basic ketogenic diets and all this stuff. The American Heart Association just put a whole study together on the ketogenic diet. Keep doing it, you're going to look good, but you're going to die about 15 years way ahead. Because you're mobilizing too much fat in your body. and that's going to cause clotting of arteries later in life. So, do it. I look good laying in that casket, yeah. How ripped that body is, too. It looks good. It'll be popular in the next life. But you get my point? So, the point I'm trying to get across to you, always keep your mind open. But keep the science there. And I have more arguments with other physicians and practitioners. I said, I'm open-minded, I'm not stupid. Not 1 2-ounce shot of this juice is going to cure everything in the human body. It can't. We're too complicated. Because you hear a lot about antioxidants. The A's, C's, E's, fight all the free radicals. Why do our cells want to see if we can get that? Why do we form these things? Because cells have a cell cycle. And it's supposed to, certain times they're supposed to die. And then new cells will be created. DNA will synthesize, make DNA and RNA, form new cells, and these cells start renewing to grow. Well, when I play with that and mess with it, you can create hyperplasia. So can you over-vitamin yourself and create harm? The answer is yes. But, nutrition is also a majoring in biochemistry. So they understand the biomolecules, how they work in the human body. They just don't, yes, you take nutrition courses, but nutrition courses are an offshoot of biochemistry. And it's big time. In the profession, I was a practicing chiropractor for years, chiropractic physician. We're the only true physicians, osteopaths, MDs, dentists, that study nutrition. We study it all the way to the clinical level, from the biochemistry to the clinical level. And the first one to tell you this other stuff on how to use it are medical doctors who don't take one nutrition course that goes to medical school. They just take pharma. We take pharmacology too. Because you're going to know what the interaction of drugs will create symptoms. But the way we treat, we don't use it. Because we're using nutrition and lifestyle change to make people better. There's a variation. Diagnose everybody the same. All the same textbooks. Treating will vary. But you get the point I'm saying? So there's a lot of crap that goes on blaming the FDA for things. Well, during the Clinton administration in the 90s, they weakened the FDA with watching vitamins and minerals being distributed and how they manufacture. And they don't have to come in and stop it till so many people die from it. Then they can come in and stop it. They're going to wait for death to happen. Where on the pharmaceutical end, no. These things are tested a minimum of 10 years before they come out to the public. And heavy studies are done on it. And the other thing, people, the body only reads this. Chemicals. It doesn't really give a damn where it came from. If it was the cheap product or the best product, as long as it can see the amine group, it knows it's a protein. The balance C6H12O6, it knows it's a carb. And if it sees the unbalanced amount of it, then it knows it's a fat. The body reads this. It don't care where it came from. So why am I saying this? Because you don't need to spend $1,000. The $10 product will do the same thing if you know how to use it. That's the point I'm getting across. Some may be better. So what is the variation you're seeing in the vitamin world? And there's a book called Vitamania that's out there. And it was a person who researched this industry for 30 years. She wrote about the industry. And so much contradiction between them. Other than the basic essential vitamins that exist, we do need that or you do come down with diseases, scurvy, beriberi, and all these other issues. But what it's talking about is the body just reads biochemistry. and it understands that. One isn't better than the other. Might be a little more balanced, but not better. And anything that you eat in the United States, anything is vitamin fortified, including beer. Beer's vitamin fortified with B vitamins and stuff, so you don't come down with liver disease. So even that, because we probably are the top vitamin deficient country in the world that isn't doing that. Because we eat such a crappy diet. Preserved and synthetic foods more than anywhere else in the world. Think about that. It's like the red meat thing. Red meat in a lean form that you shoot an animal in the woods and eat it is very healthy. The red meat, the way we grow it and harvest it here, is not. So that's why when you're on vacation in other countries, in South America or the Caribbean, it tastes different. Because there's no crap in it. They grow it right on the damn resorts and they harvest it and eat it themselves. So it tastes so much better. You know, the mango you're eating wasn't shipped across the sea to get to you. The mango was picked in the backyard and you're eating it and it's nice and sweet. It's not hard like a rock. It's not sprayed with a chemical to kill things as it gets here. Like bananas are the biggest thing. They're all shipped in from South America, Central, all bananas that we eat. They're sprayed. They go in green and they turn yellow magically. Then they spray chemicals on it to make that go quicker. You know, think about it. So, it's not, I mean, if you do a certain diet because you don't want energy in them, that's fine. Go along with you. But, you know, certain things the body needs. Too much balancing in some of these other diets. Even the Mediterranean diet is probably one of the healthiest diets in the Mediterranean areas of the world. And there is lean meat in there, like chicken, fish, and lean meats. Not a lot of it, but it's there. So when they say it's a vegan diet, that's a lie. It's not a vegan diet. There are lean meats because in Portugal, Italy, Spain, France, they eat meats. And they're very lean. And studies have been done in Italy, big time researchers on protein synthesis of the body. And the body still, the human body, will harvest that much better coming from meat source than vegetable source. And they did the research. And the funny part, they took the three type diets, they took a basic diet, Mediterranean diet of doing that with the red meat and the vegan diet. The one that came out of the Mediterranean diet had the healthiest triglycerides, cholesterol, and blood sugars out of the three. So it's the way you're cooking it, it's the way you're doing things with it. You don't need to eat, 3 pounds of meat a day. But if you have 6 ounces of red meat a week, it's not going to cause cancer or heart disease. That's the point. So you don't like meat, then eat chicken. Eat fish. Well, Eggland's best. They got less cholesterol in their egg. Let's talk about cholesterol before we go anywhere else, because slowing this down on purpose. Why does the body make something so bad for us? It's not a dietary source. The body manufactures cholesterol through your liver. So why would we make something that's so bad? There are some cases where some people will produce them. That's probably 2% of the population, not 50% of the pharmaceutical industry. The statins, as you believe. According to them, everybody at the age of 50 should get on a statin drug. And what's a statin going to do? It's going to inhibit the body's ability to form cholesterol. So in other words, the big man that is sick, that's why every 3 months they do liver enzyme studies and they mission on showing the liver. They don't raise the HDL. They might lower LDL, but they don't raise the HDL amount. That's usually a genetic entity of that amount of falls. The HDL is very good cholesterol. So what does cholesterol do? Well, that forms cell membranes. All your positive cell organelles. Plays an important role with immune function in the body and hormone function. That's why we have it. It's all the base product that creates these other things. But it's better. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, the staff industry. It's a lot of they know a lot of research behind it isn't there. It doesn't prevent it. There's not one study showing it does. They use it all the time like it's the cure. So this is what I want to try to do to you as I'm teaching you, is open your mind to be sometimes skeptic. People are starting to have muscle pain to no end. How many drug things you see? But may cause sudden death. Oh, well, I don't have to worry about being sick. I'm dead. There's a lot of them out there. Might cause severe reaction or sudden death. Oh, good. I take this pill. I might die tonight. I don't have to worry about my blood sugars anymore. You get what I'm saying, though? There's always something. So this is an example of synthesis. Synthesis means we're going to make something. This is an example of decomposition, breaking it down. So we're going to take glycogen and break it into glucose. What the body likes to do is store glucose as glycogen, which is a starch. So what do long endurance runners do that in a marathon about 2 days before the race? They carb up. Not eating donuts and things like that, but they carb up eating complex carbs such as pastas, rice, things of this sort, juga, sweet rice. So, beans and rice, but they'll start, and why? Because this stores in the muscles in the liver as glycogen. So as the body needs to perform energy as I'm running, what it's going to do is slowly convert the glycogen to glucose, and the glucose will convert to ATP. And because they have so much mitochondria in this muscle cells, because they've been trained, the body will do that because it'll have oxygen to do it. So they don't get oxygen deprived if they're running a 26-mile race. That's taking someone that's never done anything and let them run 2 miles, they're going to be dying. So we'll get into that, how endurance training versus strength training. Endurance is different. We're getting muscle to build mitochondria, which we need to do this. Okay? So that's breaking stuff down. Then you have exchange reactions. Well, we're going to do exchange reactions. When we break down glucose, we want to form ATP. ATP is the energy source our body can burn. It can't burn it as sugar. It can't burn it as fat or as a protein. But it can burn it as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So it's like I told you, the same scenario is you're in Foxwoods and you win $1,000 in chips. But you forget to cash them in. And on the way home, you stop and shop, and you're going to buy stuff, and it comes to like $21, you give them a $50 chip. I can't use this. So in other words, yes, it has a value to it, but it's a currency that won't exchange. Well, the same thing. Glucose has a value to it of energy, but the body can't exchange it to use it. So we convert it to ATP. You convert the chips back to dollars and cents. It's the same scenario. And if you think of it that way, then when we go into this stuff, it's going to be very easy to understand it. Okay? So that's an exchange reaction. So there's breaking down the, creating a true solution. Now, here we go with the pH scale. So something that's a strong. So you did this. You guys are experts. So I'll let you explain. I'm going to do that. So, what did you get out of doing that experiment? The pH. Nothing. The lab. There was a lab. Well, we did a lab all on this. We spent like half hour doing it. What'd you get out of it? All right. Then from there we went to enzymes. We were here, and when we went to enzymes, we started realizing, well, these things are forms of proteins. Most of them are, not all, but most, like 90%. And if it's not sitting at the right pH, it doesn't work. It inhibits it. And then we'll see another thing we'll learn, because we'll see when we do reactions. Enzymes come in, but they don't become part of the enzyme. They just speed it up, almost like putting heat to boil the water to dissolve the sugar faster. That's a catalyst. So enzymes and catalysts are the same thing. They'll get involved in the reaction, speed it up, slow it down, but they're not part of the end reaction. They cycle back. And by understanding enzymes in this, it's how everything kind of works in us. So think, see at 7.4, that's really rounding it up. It's 7.3. But say 7.4 is the pH of blood, so that means it's neutral. It's a neutral product, okay? So if you want to be around 7 and neutral, even though it's this, it's a little more acidic than this is pretty neutral. Okay, so it's a pretty neutral product. And if that shifts from 7.4 to 7.5, is that a good thing?
No.
And that would be called alkalosis. The blood is more alkaline. So the person's breathing patterns would change. Their blood is more alkaline, they're going to slow down their breathing, and it'll be deep, slow breaths. Why? Because I want to store carbon dioxide so it becomes carbonic acid in the blood to raise it. If I go the other extreme, 7.3, non-acidotic, ketoacidosis is very big in diabetics. Keto means they're burning fats to create the acidosis. So here they are, so they're very acidotic, and they start breathing this way. Why? Because I want to blow off carbon dioxide to break down the carbonic acid in the blood and get rid of it. So even something as lungs, not just kidneys, play a role in bringing back the normal pH. Because there was a part here that says moving the symptoms be. I'm just giving you examples. So deep breathing, slow and rhythmic will help try to reverse going to this back this way. Rapid, quick breathing will try to bring it back this way. Okay, so one's going to store carbon dioxide, which will break carbonic acid in the blood. The other one is going to break down carbonic acid and get rid of the carbon dioxide. So in other words, I'm showing the body has carbon dioxide receptors to see this stuff. And this is what I want to get rid of or store. And the respiratory system will do that. To help in the kidneys, to help in the sweat glands, to help balance out pH. So pH is a very important thing because if I'm an enzyme that's going to work at this certain pH, things don't happen. So when I put you on, okay, so here we go with stomach acid. You're around here. Okay, 1 to 3 is stomach acid. It's hydrochloric acid, that's in your stomach. You're in this ballpark here. So you suffer reflux disease. You eat anything that has this and that, it comes back, right? Reflux. All right, so I put you on a proton suppressant. So proton is hydrogen ion. So I put you on a hydrogen ion suppressant. What does that do? Proton is hydrogen ion. So what does that do?
Suppresses the acid.
It suppresses the acid formation of HCl coming out of the two sides of the stomach. But now, as I'm raising that stomach pH probably from 3 to about 4.5, I don't convert pepsin to pepsinogen. Pepsin's a polypeptide group. So now I don't break down protein as well. So I don't push that, so I push it through into the small intestine now. And it's more in a large chain form, so the enzymes in there, proteases, are having a harder time breaking it down. So you fix one thing, but create another issue. Any type of calcium or iron product that's being absorbed through the stomach lining has to be in an acid environment. So now I cut down the absorption of calcium and cut down the absorption of iron. So one of the side effects of these drugs, other than one now is cancer, is break itself into a toxic substance in the body, penetrate the body, and that's the pepsin. But the one that's omeprazole doesn't do that. But omeprazole will inhibit the absorption of certain products, which can make you more likely to be osteoporotic. The other. So what would be one of the answers to help someone with reflux disease without over medicating? Change diet. No fried foods. Easy digestible foods. No eating after a certain time at night so you don't reflux when you lay down. You know, red wine, yeah, it's good for the blood, but red wine has a tendency to reflux. So no drinking or eating after 7 o'clock. Sleep on the left side, not the right side. Put a 2-inch block under the head of the bed when you get up high. So it's harder for the stomach acids to get to the esophagus. And that's amazing how you get that out of just chemistry. That's what you're going to do someday. So why am I learning this stuff? Because you got to understand what it is, how it works, and what it can do to fix it. So that's why I go into all this BS with you at the same time, because it's showing you why you're learning it. And other than being locked in 4 walls here in the artificial world, I was out in the real world treating people, watching how they get better. So the stuff that I learned, I apply and see how it works. Some does, some don't. That's why it's called practice. You learn every day while you're doing it. When you think you know it all, it's time to get out because you're going to kill people. So that's so important. So, you know, sodium hydroxide, that's pretty much this, or this is drain cleaner. And the products they use to treat osteoporosis, that when you take it, you can't be able to sit up for 2 to 3 hours after taking it because they're based on strong drain cleaner. So they know it's going to absorb into the bone. Hydroxy iron will absorb into bone. So it's going to get through to get there. What loves to cross the stomach lining? What things will cross stomach lining with no sweat? Alcohol. Try to get drunk so fast. On empty stomach, you have 2 glasses of wine. And the funny part is, 1 glass of wine, 1 ounce of alcohol, 12-ounce beer, all the same alcohol content against the heart. So the body can handle 1 ounce per hour to keep you from going over the point a week. 1 ounce, so you only drink 1 glass of wine in the hour. So you drink 2 glasses of wine in the hour and you go drive. Guess what? You're gonna get arrested. I had 3 beers. It's only beer. Only 4% alcohol. I said, well, guess what? You're drunk.
Why does it help you I've heard that it's healthy to drink like 1 glass of wine.
Because number 1, when you do digestion, it's a secretor. It's going to cause enzymes to secrete in the stomach, GI tract. Number 1. Number 2, they've done a lot of studies on cholesterol and how to reduce it and to keep it in a liquid form. And the one product that was missing was alcohol, and red wine to keep. Now they're saying an ounce, they're not saying a gallon. There's a difference. You get rid of, not the bottle every night, or 2 bottles a night, but a glass. Would you be considered an alcoholic if you drank a glass of wine every night? No. But if I have to, because I can't cope with it, now you're on the verge of coming. There's reasons. So in a lot of nursing homes, extended care facilities where the elderly still are healthy and go drink their own, they will give them stuff like that. Because caffeine, coffee, tea, wine, they're secretagogues. They're going to help us, the GI tract secrete fit quicker to digest and break down food. Okay? So pH is